Hi and welcome to this Vim tutorial for beginners. So if you're a beginner and you don't know how to use Vim, this tutorial is intended for you. By the end of this tutorial, you're going to have all the skills you need to move from Nano. If you've been using Nano, then you can move from Nano by the end of this tutorial. So first of all, let me just open up a window that will have Vim installed, and I'm on Windows, so I will be using the Linux version from WSL. So I'm just going to open up Ubuntu. Ubuntu is open. Now let's talk about Vim. First of all, you'll normally see that there is Vim and there's VI. So VI and Vim is essentially the same editor, except for the fact that VI is the standard editor, and this was incepted back in the 70s. And Vim is an improved version which has been updated since the 90s. It was incepted around the 90s. Vim simply means VI improved. So which one should you use? Normally, you'll find that Vim is installed in all the modern Linux, Unix operating systems. They'll have Vim installed. But if you don't have it installed, you can just install it from your package manager. So if I do something like Vim or VI, so in modern Linux, Unix systems, whether you do VI or Vim, you're going to get the same editor. So for instance, if I do just VI, you'll see there we are told that this is VI improved. And you can close it. If you want to close out of Vim or VI when you're editing something, you can just do Shift ZQ, and Shift ZQ is going to force close. So force closing means that it is not going to save this file. So if I do Shift ZQ, that's going to close this. And if I also do Vim, I just want to show you this first before we start talking about the editor. So Vim as well will bring you to VI improved. So in modern Linux operating systems, you're going to find that VI and Vim, normally Vim will be the one that's installed, the improved version, the VI improved. So before I even close it out, the first thing I want you to know that in Vim, there are 3 modes. There are not 3 modes, there are more than 3 actually, but these are the 3 modes that you need to be aware of. The first mode is normal mode, and it's also called the command mode. This is a mode that you get into in Vim. Usually when you open up Vim, you open up a file, it's going to come in the normal mode and the command mode. And in this mode, you can't type. Even if I keep pressing stuff, it won't be able to type. And if you want to type, you have to go into insert mode. So insert mode, you get in there by pressing I. If you press I, you'll see down there, it tells you that you're now in insert mode. So once you're in insert mode, you can start typing. And when you start typing, if you want to save your file or you want to go back to the terminal, to go back to normal mode, you just press escape. You'll be doing a lot of things in normal mode. Just press escape once you're done editing your file. The third mode of Vim that we have is called the command line mode. So don't confuse this with the command mode. The command mode is the normal mode. That's the mode we're in right now. So the command line mode, this is a mode where you'll issue commands to the editor. For example, one way of closing Vim is by using :Q. That will close Vim. I can do Q. So just this is supposed to quit. If I hadn't made any changes to this file, I would be able to quit. Since I made changes, Vim will expect that I save the file or I don't save it. If I want to save the file, I will do WQ. So this will close after saving. Okay. So :W, that simply means save. Okay. If I do :WQ like that, and then I press enter, it's going to save the file and it's going to close it. It's going to save it in the current directory where I'm at. If I don't want to save any changes, what I can do is I can simply just do Q, that. So Q and exclamation mark. If I press enter, it's just going to close the file. So let's say I want to save a file. I want to create a new file. So if you want to create a file, you can just do VI. So as we've established on the modern Linux, you can do VI or Vim. So I'm going to do VI. So if I do VI, I can create a file. Maybe I want to create a file called file1. I can just do VI file1, and then I can start entering content inside of this file. Remember, we have the 3 modes. Right now we are in normal mode. So in the normal or the command mode, you cannot type in. If you want to type in, you have to press I on your keyboard, and that will put you in insert mode, and then you can start typing. The thing I want to show you next is how you can save this file if you want to save this file. So of course, the next thing you have to do, if you want to go into command line mode, which will allow you to command the text editor, just go into escape mode, and we want to save the file. So remember, to save the file, we said you do W. This should be able to save the file. Now it will save the file because I gave the file a name. So if I do this and enter, it's going to save the file. You can see there, file 1 written. However, let's do Shift ZZ. Shift ZZ is just a quick way to save and close. So let's do VI and then I to go into insert mode, and I'm going to add some text to change this file. So once I change the file and then I go back to escape mode, right now the file doesn't have a name. So if I do W to save, if I do :W to save, it's going to tell me there's no file name. So if I want to enter a file name, I'll just do W and then give it the file name. Okay, so that will save the file. And if you want to close out now that the file has been saved, you can just do Shift Q, and that will close out. If I hadn't saved, I would do WQ, but I've saved. So I'm just going to do Q, and that's going to close Vim. So if I do ls, I should be able to see the files that I created inside here. Okay, so I'll cd into this folder, and let's work with this folder now. Let's see if there's any file inside there. There's no file, so we can create a file, Vim, a sample file that we can work with, vi sample, and I'm just going to copy some things from here. I can go into insert mode, or if I want to paste, I can just paste. So pasting is basically just using your terminal. So like for instance, in my terminal, if I want to paste, I'll just right click. But if you are on terminal in a Linux system, for example, Ubuntu, you will do Shift, I think it's Shift Ctrl C. So here, I'm just going to right click, and it's going to insert everything. So of course you cannot use the mouse to scroll. The good thing with Vim is that you can scroll up using the keyboard, keys, just the up arrows, just use the arrows to scroll through. So you can always see which mode you're in by coming down here. You can see right now I'm being told that I'm in insert mode. So if I want to insert something, like I can see API version doesn't have an A, I can enter my A. You can just edit this file like you want to. Maybe you want to start editing from the very end of this. Let's use an example of this one. If you want to go into insert mode, where you can start editing this file, but you want to start editing from the end of this line, you can just do capital A. So that's basically Shift A. So you can see that's going to take me to the end of that line. Let me go back to escape mode. So for this one, just as another example for that, so maybe we want to change kind from deployment to deployment 1. What you can do is you can just do Shift A, and it's going to take you to the very end of it. Escape again. You get the idea. The idea is if you do Shift A, it will take you to the end of the line, and you can start editing from there. Okay, so let's just do a recap of some of the things that we've learned so far. If I do escape, it will take me to normal mode. That W, you remember that is for saving. And if you want to give it a file name, change the file name right there, enter the file name. If you want to close without saving the changes, you can do Q. Or another way for doing this is just doing Shift ZQ. Shift ZQ is going to close without saving. And if you want to save and close, you can just do the :WQ. This is going to close and save at the same time. The other form of this is you can do Shift ZZ. If you do Shift ZZ, that's going to close and save the file. we've said that if you want to insert, you can just do I. If you want to insert at the very end of the line, you can just do Shift A, and that's going to put the cursor at the end, and you can start editing from there. We're going to see other ways in which you can move the cursor very easily. Now let's talk about editing the file. So right now we are in insert mode. Let's go to escape, and we're going to look at editing the file. Let me do Shift ZZ first. Shift Z Q. As we said, you can open up a file by just doing VI and opening a file name. So we didn't save this file, and if I do ls, you're going to see we don't have any file there. So I'm just going to do V sample again, enter, and let me just paste that once again, and I'll do Shift ZZ. Oh, make sure you go back to escape mode first, and then do Shift ZZ, and that's going to save the file. So right now, if I do ls, we are going to see that the file is there, and we can open it using Vim. So you can just do VI or Vim plus the name of the file, and that's going to open it, and you can start editing the file. So right now we are down here. If you want to go to the very top, you can just do GG, and that's going to take you to the top. And I want to change that to API version. And if I want to save, I'll just go back to escape mode, and I'll do Shift W, and that's going to save it without closing the file. Okay, if you want to delete a line, make sure that you are in normal mode. To get there, of course, we've said you just do escape. Just to be safe, normally just do it twice, and then you can delete a line. So not where my cursor is, I'll just do DD, and that's going to delete that line. I can do DD again, that's going to delete the line. DD, that's going to delete that line. So you can just delete lines like that. And if you want to undo the delete while you're in escape mode, you can do U. U is going to undo. So if I do U, it's going to bring them back. It's going to undo all the changes I've made. And if you want to redo, let's just do escape once again. If you want to redo, you can just do Ctrl R, and that's going to put that change back there for me. Maybe you want to delete like 3 lines. You can number these commands. Like for example, maybe you want to delete 3 lines here. I'll just press 3 and then DD, and that's going to delete those 3 lines. You can do a command a number of times. Maybe you want to undo something multiple times. So let's first of all go into insert mode. Let's go into insert mode, and I want to put the cursor at the end. So I'll put there 1 here as well. Maybe you can put there 2. You can put there a 3. You can put there a 3. So you can do U a number of times to go back to the original file, or you know that you've made 3 changes to this file. So you can just go back to escape mode. You can just go back to normal mode, press escape, and then do 3U, and that's going to undo the 3 changes. So okay, there were 4, so let me just do undo once again, and it's going to do the 4th. It's going to remove the 4th change. So you can just do a command multiple times. Maybe you want to do the last 3 changes, you can just do 3U. You want to delete like 3 next lines, you can just do 3DD, and that's going to delete those 3 lines. So maybe you want to copy a line. When the cursor is here and you want to copy this line, you can just do YY, and in Vim it's called yanking. So you can just yank this line. And also note that when you do DD, everything that you DD, you can paste. So you do YY is to copy, and then you can paste just with P. So if I do YY, I'll press Y twice on that line, and then I will do P. And if I do P, you'll see that the line will be copied below. If I do P again, you'll see that it's copied below. Okay, so I'll do undo. Note that I'm doing this in the normal mode. Okay, so not where the cursor is. The cursor is there just below tier, and when it's there under tier, let's put it here. When you do paste, P is going to put it below, but if you want to paste it above tier, above the cursor, let's do undo. If you want to paste it above, you'll do capital P. So I'll do Shift P, and that's going to paste it above. So maybe you want to paste it again above this line, instead of below, you can do Shift P. That will paste it above where the cursor is. So I'm just going to undo these changes, but I want that one, so I'll do Ctrl R to redo that one. Now, what else? If you want to delete, you can also do X. So if you do X, you'll just delete a character while you're in escape mode. So maybe you want to delete a simple character instead of deleting a line. Remember, to delete a line, you do DD. That's going to delete a line. So I'm just going to do 3. Let me do 5U. And then U again. There we go. Ctrl R to add my A up there. Then you want to add numbering to this. You can add numbering to these lines. So what I mean is, make sure you are in normal mode, and then in normal mode, just do that, and then you can set a number. So you can write number in full, or you can just write NU, and that's going to add line numbers. If you want to remove the line numbers, you can do set no number, one letter, no number, or you can do just no. So let's do escape, and I'll do set. You can do write the number in full, or you can just do set no, and that's going to remove the numbers. If you don't want to type like this, you can also just toggle. Toggling just means you can put them off or on, and you can use a simple command for that, set NU or set number. So let's go. Okay, we're already in escape mode. If I do set, I can write number in full, or I can just write NU. Of course, I'd rather write NU than number. And if I do this and press enter, it's going to add them on. And if I want to remove the numbers, I can just do set NU, and that's going to remove the numbering. I'd much rather leave the number, so I'm just going to do set NU, and that's going to add our numbers right there. Okay, let's move on to searching, and maybe you want to search something inside of this file. Let's see how you can do that. So we say that we have three modes of Vim, and that was normal mode, /command mode, and insert mode, and the command line mode. The reason we call this the command line mode is because you can issue commands to the editor, and when you do things like this, that is issuing a command. You're letting the editor know that you're about to issue a command. So let's see how you can search, and the search command starts with that. So you can do that, and you can search for a string. Okay, so we don't have a string, so let me just find something that is here multiple times. Okay, let's search for kind, and you can see it's already found one, kind. So if I press enter, I can navigate and find all the kinds. I can navigate and edit the kind that I want to edit. Maybe this is not the kind that I want to edit. So if I want to navigate to go down, I'll just press N. Please make sure you press enter so that it is in this mode. So when I press enter and it brings the cursor like that, I can just press N and go to the next kind. You can see that is in line 47, and then I can find another kind in line 63, and I'll find another kind in line 99. So if I want to edit it, of course, I'll just press I, and I can start editing it. Maybe this is the one that I wanted to edit, so I'll change it to iKind, and I'll go back to escape mode. So once again, if you want to search for something, you do that. Then this time around, let's search for up. Let's search for up, and you can see I have one up there. I'll press enter to see if there are others, and then I can go down, and I can see there's one in line 114. There's another one in line 117. So let's say that the app that I wanted to edit is the one which is in line 114. So if you want to go back up, you can just do Shift N, Shift N, that is capital N. That will take me back, and I can also see if there are others at the top. Maybe I've passed it, the one that I wanted to edit, or I remember that the one that I wanted to edit maybe is down, so I'll go back down. I can navigate back down using small n. So small n, press it to go to whichever one you want to edit. And of course, if you want to edit it, you can just press I, or if you want to edit at the end of the line, you can just do Shift A, and that's going to edit that. And then I can go back to escape mode, and that's how to search. So just a brief of how to search. Once again, you'll do that, you enter the string that you want to search for, and then once you've entered the string, you'll just press enter, and then you can use N to navigate down, or capital N to navigate up, and then you'll press I to edit whatever you want to edit. So you can see string is not found in this case. Now, the next thing, let's see how you can search and replace. So before I do that, let me just do Ctrl U to undo the changes that I made. I'll just do U, not Ctrl U, but U to undo the changes. Now, if I want to search and replace, I'll make sure that I'm in normal mode. If you're not in normal mode, just press escape. And if you're not able to type, just press escape again. That's why I was saying just double press escape. Usually will make sure that you are in normal mode safely. We want to search and replace. To search and replace, you'll just do colon %s, and then we want to search for a string. So let's say we want to search for kind and replace kind with king. So I'm just going to do kind, and then we can replace it with king. So if I press enter right now, it's going to replace all occurrences of kind are going to get replaced with king. So let me just do that, and I'm going to press enter, and you'll see that all occurrences of kind will be king. So 6 substitutions in 6 lines have been done. So all occurrences of kind have been replaced with king. But what if you don't want to do that? Maybe you want to confirm which ones you want to replace. Once again, I'm going to enter colon %s. We don't have kind. Let's search for king. We want to replace that with kind. And this time round, we want to be asked if we really want to do that. So I can do GC. So when you do GC, it's going to ask you to confirm. So I'm just going to enter. And when I enter, the first one is going to ask me if I need to change it. And if I want to change it, I can do yes. If I don't, I can do no. So I will do, for the first one, let me do N. And the second one is going to ask me, do you want to change it? I'll do N again, and for this one, let's say maybe I want to change it, so I'll do Y, and that will get changed. The next one as well, I'll do Y, and that's going to get changed. It seems like that was the last one. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to undo all these changes. Escape, I will undo all the changes, and let's just do one last search. So you can find out what these others mean. Like for instance, you can just type in A to see what that means. So you can find out what all these others mean. If I do A, you'll see that it will substitute all of them. As your assignment, just playing around on Vim, see what the others do. All right, let's move on to the last bit, and we are nearing the end of this tutorial. And what I'm going to do now is we're just going to see how we can navigate through our file. As we said, if you want to go to the very first line, the first line of the file, you can just do GG. So GG, that's going to take me to the first line. You can see line 1 there. If I want to go to the last line, I'll just do capital G. So essentially, that's pretty much Shift G. That's going to take me to the last line. Let's scroll up. Let's say that we want to go to the first character of the line. The first character of the line, you'll just do O. So you can see this is actually the first character. In as much as it's a space, it's still a first character. So when I press 0, it will just remain there. So if you want to go to the first line, let's go to the very first line. Maybe you'll see this in action. So let me move the cursor. let me move the cursor somewhere there. If I want to go to the first line, I'll just press 0 and it's going to take me to the first letter. If I want to go to the last letter of the line, I will do $sign. So just press $sign on your keyboard and that's going to take you to the last letter of the line. So let's come back. The next example that I want to talk about, just something that I can show you while I need to get to line 18. So what I can do is I can just do 18 and that's going to take me to line 18. So you can jump through lines like that. Go to the start of the next word. If you want to go to the start of the next word, maybe in this line 18 I want to edit ups. If I want to go to the start of the next line, I'll just do W. That's going to take me to the start of the next word. In this case, it shows that, but I can do W again. And if I do that, it just takes me to the start of the next word. So if I want to go to the start of the next word, I'll just do W. If I want to go to the start of the last or previous word, I'm just going to do B. So remember, all this is done in normal mode. If I do B, it will take me to the start of the previous word. So that's a nice way to just navigate in a line when you're editing a file. So if you want to move to the end of the word, you can see that W takes you to the beginning of the next word. What if you want to go to the end of the word? So you can just do E and that takes you to the end of the word. End of the word, okay? So you can see this is a nice way to navigate. Maybe you want to navigate down, you can do Ctrl F and Ctrl B to navigate up and down. Maybe you have a long file, you can do Ctrl F, that's going to take you down. Ctrl F, maybe you're looking for something or you're reading a particular file, you can just do Ctrl F, that takes you down like that until you get to the bottom. And then if you want to go back up, you can do Ctrl B, that will take you to almost the end of the file. It will take you up to the point where you can see the beginning of the line. That's pretty much it for how to navigate through your file. I mean, I should have said this at the beginning, but when you're starting this tutorial, just have a pen and paper and write down these commands because it will be much easier for you to remember them. That way, when you need them, you can just refer. You don't have to memorize everything. Just one last thing before I end the video. If you want to open a new tab, you can open a new tab. So I'm just going to do :tab new, and that's going to create a new tab. You can create another one. That's going to create a new tab. Maybe you want to edit different files. You can create new files. And if you want to navigate from one file tab to the next tab, you can just do G+T on your keyboard. So just G+T is going to take us back here. And then if I press G and T again, it's going to take me to the next one. And if I do G and T again, it's going to take me to the last one. Okay, so of course, if you want to close this, file, you can just do it the way I showed you, or you can just do Shift Z Q, and that's going to close the other files. If you don't want to keep the changes you've made so far, you can just do Shift Z Q or Shift ZZ if you want to save the changes. If you want to close it without saving the changes, just do Shift ZQ. If you do Shift ZZ, it's going to save the changes and close. So that's it. That's an introduction for Vim. There's so much more that you can do, but up to this point, this is enough to get you started with Vim. If you don't know whether you should use it or not, you can see that there's so much that you can do. This tutorial is enough to help you get started using Vim in your terminal. So that's it for this tutorial.